He said, that means you're going to be a servant. That means that you're going to sacrifice, and that means that you're going to sanctify. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's what leader is, son. If your wife's list of service is greater for you than it is from you to her, then she's leading you and you're not leading her. I said, wait, hold on. Let me glean from this again. So, what up, everybody? Listen, we're talking about relationships, keeping them strong, keeping you strong in the relationship so that the relationship can be strong. Whether you're dating or whether you're married, you still need to take these keys because we all want to grow. We all want to build a legacy. I'm in it for the legacy. I'm in it for the long haul. I want to make sure that my children's children can look back on the work that me and Kanika put in and say, that's the blueprint. That's how we need to do it. And we can give them what they need in order for them to succeed. And a lot of us in our lives haven't been given what we need in order to succeed. We know that we want to be in a relationship. We know that we want to be married. We know that we want to build a legacy, but there's not quite of a blueprint that's been given to us to figure out how to be the person, like I said in the videos last week, got to go back and see the video last week and the week before that we want to give and then we want to grow. But I have another G for you today, okay? So the first one is give. You want to make sure you're giving of yourself like Jesus did. He didn't come to be served. He came to serve and to give his life away, give his life as a ransom. Each person in the relationship has to have that attitude. How can I serve you? How can I go to the next level for you? What can I give you? Okay, giving and a servant mentality is how service is the conduit through which success flows in your relationship, okay? So give and then grow. You can't be defensive and grow. You have to be an active listener wanting to grow and realizing and expecting that every part of this relationship, you need to position yourself as a learner, not someone who already knows, okay? And you should be excited to learn, excited to grow, excited for the changes. This is all a part of legacy building in your relationship on into your marriage if you're not married yet, but ultimately, if you're married, this is for you. And so we want to give, we want to grow. And today, I want to make sure you do something. Glean. Give, grow, glean. What do you mean glean? Glean, like glean on the edges of the field. Remember Ruth? She went to the edges, Ruth chapter 2. She was on the edges of Boaz's field and she was gleaning from his field. And gleaning from his field, she was able to get full in an atmosphere that would position her for a marriage. Okay, she was getting full in an atmosphere that would position her for a marriage. Many of us come into a marriage empty. What did I say? I wanted to give my kids a blueprint. I wanted to give my kids something they can glean from me so that they could learn what they needed to get full in an environment that prepares them for what God has for them, that helps them know, what do I need to plant? How do I need to serve, give? How do I need to grow? I find that out when I glean. And so you want to glean. This is not just for those who aren't married yet, but let me say a word to them. If you're not married yet, gleaning is a big thing for you. That's what Ruth was doing. She wasn't married yet, okay? Her husband had passed away. She was now solo, and she wasn't married, but she was gleaning. And she was gleaning in an appropriate location where she can get full in an environment that would prepare her to be a part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. If you're not married, you need to do more gleaning than you are dating. Okay, you need to go to people who are where you want to be and glean from those fields. Those are the fields you want to glean from. You want to go to people who are not just where you want to be when it comes to a title, they're married. They're where you want to be because of how the marriage is working out. You want to look and see how this thing is working out so that you can glean from an appropriate field, so that you can have an appropriate blueprint, so that you can actually be a blessing in the marriage that God is taking you to. Okay, so a lot of people say, well, what should I do till I wait? Well, you should be gleaning. That's what you should be doing. You should be gleaning so that you can prepare for whatever God is going to bring your way as a single. Focused on the purposes of God as a single, but also gleaning from appropriate fields so that you can be best positioned. But for those who are married, it's the same thing too. My wife always says that I look sideways at a brother. From her perspective, I look sideways at a brother who ain't got no accountability. If you ain't got no accountability and you trying to live this life and be in a marriage as hard as it is, go through all of these tests, trials, and tribulations, all of these ups and downs, and you doing it by yourself, I'm side-eyeing you. Because the Bible is clear that we're supposed to have accountability. The Bible is clear that a brother is born for a time of adversity, Proverbs 7. Proverbs 17. The Bible is clear, Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. The Bible is clear in Galatians chapter 6. Bear one another's burdens, okay, and love one another, therefore applying the law of Christ. So the Bible is clear that we're supposed to have someone there that we can glean from, that we can learn from, so that we can go to the next level. I'll tell you something that I gleaned from my dad. I used to ask my dad questions because I wanted my marriage at least a little bit to look like him and my mom. And so I said, so Dad, tell me how to be a good man in a marriage. What do I need to do? And I was trying to glean from that field, and Tony Evans hit me with I can't even explain what it was, but I was just like, I got to get out of here. This is not the right field. But he said, son, you want to be a leader of your home. And I said, I know that's right. I'm the leader of my home. I'm definitely going to be that. I ain't even worried about that. Tell me something new. You know what I mean? He said, let me tell you what that means. I said, uh-oh. He said, that means you're going to be a servant. That means that you're going to sacrifice. And that means that you're going to sanctify. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's what leader is, son. If your wife's list of service is greater for you than it is from you to her, then she's leading you and you're not leading her. I said, wait, hold on. Let me glean from this again. So you telling me a leader means that I'm not the one just being the boss and making all the decisions and sitting down watching TV and getting served and making sure I feel like the man from a cultural perspective? Is that what you're telling me? He said, absolutely. That's what I'm telling you. Now you're gleaning from biblical fields. When you glean from biblical fields, you're not going to get the stuff that you glean from cultural fields. Now you're going to get the right stuff. Yes, if your wife's list of service to you is greater than your list of service to her, not that we counting, but you know what I mean, then she's leading you. You're not the leader. Because if Christ is the blueprint for men and the church is the woman in Scripture, Christ being the man, Ephesians 5, and Christ is your blueprint, if you're gleaning from his fields, then you're a servant of all. So you're going to be serving. If Christ is your blueprint, you're going to be sacrificing. Because Christ did what? He sacrificed so that the people could go to another level that they couldn't go to without him. So you're supposed to be positioning your wife to flourish, even at your sacrifice. And he says, then you're supposed to sanctify. I said, what is sanctified? I didn't even want to hear it. I didn't even want to hear him talk no more. I was like, okay, be quiet. I need to go glean from somebody else's field. He said, then you want to sanctify. He said, the Bible says, wash her with the word. You got to be the pastor in your home. If you're leading, you got to be teaching something new. You got to take from what the pastor says on Sunday. That's why you don't miss church. You take from what the pastor says on Sunday and you feed it to your family Monday through Friday. That's all you got to do. He said, but that's what the leader of your home means. And I took that gleaning from that field and I took that into my marriage. And now I use it every single day. Some of the stuff that you've heard in this video comes from the fact that I was gleaning from my father's field. My wife has been gleaning in our marriage. She's been gleaning from my sisters. She's been gleaning from other accountability. We have other friends, couples that we glean from each other all the time. Whenever she has a hard thing that I can't identify with because I'm a man and she needs to talk to a woman with either whether it was giving birth or whether it was raising children or whether it was nursing. I mean, there was all these things that were happening. She was gleaning from these fields. Or how do I respect my husband? She was gleaning from all of these fields that were appropriate to our marriage so that she didn't come to our marriage empty. She came to our marriage full with things that she can use that would benefit the whole. And a lot of people are coming to the marriage empty. Or maybe they're full, but they're full of culture, not full of Christ. They're full of what their mama and dad told them that when they visited their houses separately, because they've been divorced for a long time, and how you got to play games, how you got to get the upper hand, how you got to make sure that you're not a simp, how you got to make sure that you do these things the way that we do them so you can look the way that you full, but you empty. And the reason why the marriage is empty is because you're full of the wrong stuff. You were gleaning on the wrong fields. The fields you were gleaning on weren't positioning you to have a better marriage. They were positioning you to be more miserable. See, a lot of people think that they're miserable because of the other person. But what if you're miserable because of what you're full with? What if you're miserable because the fields you've been gleaning on, you've been bringing things into the marriage that help the misery that you're experiencing? And a lot of people aren't gleaning. They're not gleaning and they don't know where to glean. The Bible is clear that we are called to have accountability in our marriages. Couples that are where you want to be or where you are because you're in a good place, whatever it is, that are able to pour into your life that you can say things to make sure that your head is right. I got some of my buddies call me. They just got into a fight with their wife or they're in a frustrated conversation and they call me because they like, Jay, I know you're going to tell me the truth, bro. Like, tell me this is me or this is her. And we're able to have an objective conversation. I'm able to bring Christ-likeness into it, get their head back on straight. And sometimes they don't like what I have to say because it's them. They don't realize it's them, but it's them. But they're able to go back and reap a harvest because they were gleaning from a field that was for them and not against them. Just because you're full doesn't mean you've eaten the right stuff. You can eat McDonald's and get full. You can eat Burger King and get full. You can eat at the fish fry and get full. But if you keep eating it, the way that you're going to look is going to give away what you've been eating. A lot of our marriages give away where we've been gleaning. A lot of our marriages give away where we've been gleaning. So I want you to do something practical I do in my life is I do check-ins. I do check-ins with my wife once a month. We sit down and say, hey, how can I serve you better? What do I need to learn? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Because we posture our check-ins from the position of, I need to grow. I need to give and I need to grow, so let me glean. Okay, so that's what the check-in is. But I also have check-ins with my dad. I also have check-ins with my friends. Some of my friends are Courtney, Delario, Maurice. I got friends that I can name that are a part of my life where I can call and check in anytime. Sometimes we go a long time. Sometimes we go to short time. But they know and I know that I can call them. My wife has the same thing. Who are the people that you can have check-ins with? And you can have check-ins where you can go glean something. Give me some knowledge, bro. Like, give me something I don't know. Like, tell me where I'm failing. Tell me where I need to grow. Tell me what I need to do. And both parties need to glean. The wife may think to herself, yeah, you need to go get some accountability. And the husband may think to himself, yeah, she needs somebody to tell her something. Both of you need somebody in your corner to tell you something so that you can come back to the marriage, not out of shape, from gleaning people who make you feel good. Most of us have yes people in our corner. Yeah, girl, because yeah, he ain't. And yeah, dude, if I was you, I would just do. Yeah, and everybody's making you feel good about your perspective. Meanwhile, eating that fast food that tastes good and feels good has your relationship as out of shape as it's ever been. And you keep going back to McDonald's to glean instead of going to a place that can give you good food. So, not just go to a check-in, but who are your check-ins? Challenge yourself. Actually want to get better. Otherwise, your relationship will look just like the stuff that you eat. Listen to me. Be steadfast, unmovable, always abound in the work of the Lord, and know that it will not go in vain. You got to glean, and you got to glean from the right places. Let's keep our marriages and our relationships strong because the next generation is depending on it. Let's go. What up, everybody? Listen, we talked about gleaning. What did you glean from this message? Put it in the comments and listen, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, become a part of the family, and talk about how you're learning and how you're growing and who you have in your corner. I learn from you, you learn from me, we learn together. Let's go.